There are several different routes to the summit of Kilimanjaro, each of which offers its own unique advantage. Some are a shorter, more direct route to the peak, some allow more time for acclimatization, and some are more crowded than others, but each route is beautiful in its own way. One of the newer routes on Kilimanjaro is the Lemosho route, which approaches from the west. This route offers good acclimatization, grand vistas, and striking physical features, and is regarded by many as the most scenic route on the mountain. Team Kilimanjaro offers both a 7-day and an 8-day itinerary for the Lemosho route. In addition to the traditional route around the southern face of the mountain, TK has also pioneered a more remote path around the northern side of Kilimanjaro, offering wonderful views of Kenya. This video describes the traditional Lemosho route. After being picked up at your hotel first thing in the morning, you'll ride to the western edge of the mountain where you'll begin what can be a very bumpy but fun ride up in a four-wheel drive vehicle. TK's drivers will take you as far up the road as possible, often passing other hikers whose drivers have already stopped. By early afternoon, you'll be hiking through the rainforest, during which time you should keep a keen eye out for wildlife. Black and white colobus monkeys as well as blue monkeys are commonly seen and heard in this area. You'll spend your first night in the forest camp. On day 2, you'll continue pressing eastward, progressing out of the rainforest into the giant heather moorland zone, and eventually onto the Shira Plateau. The plateau is actually a caldera or collapsed volcanic crater. In this case, the remains of the first of Kilimanjaro's eruptions around 500,000 years ago. The plateau was filled by the lava from the subsequent eruption of Kibo. Depending on your pace, your camp at the end of your second day will either be at Shira 1 or Shira Caves. Along the way, you'll pass by the Shira Cathedral, and if you're up for it, your guide may suggest a side excursion to the top of the cathedral. On day 3, the hiking will get more challenging, as you'll have lunch at the Lava Tower at 4,642 meters, or more than 15,000 feet above sea level.
This is a lava tower. The formation of this is the result of eruption of Kibo.
You'll spend a leisurely lunch there, and then we'll drop down in elevation during the afternoon as you approach the Barranco camp. This portion of the itinerary is a key part of the acclimatization aspect of the Lemosho route, for on this day you hike high and sleep low. You'll want to get an early start to your hike on day 4, as the first hurdle you face is the Barranco Wall. One of the unique features that makes the Lemosho route so appealing to so many, it is a very steep but manageable hike with a few areas of scrambling. One of the highlights is the Kissing Rock, named because you have to get so close to it you almost kiss it as you pass. After reaching the top of the wall, you'll have a full day of trekking ahead of you. You'll descend into the Karanga Valley with glorious views of the glaciers on Kibo to your left. Lunch will be at the Karanga camp, which is also the last source of fresh water on the Lemosho route, but don't worry, TK's porters will make sure your water bottle never empties. After lunch, you will climb up out of the valley and end the day at Barafu, which will serve as your base camp for your summit assault the next day. When you begin your summit assault will be determined by your guide, and he'll make that decision based on how you've been hiking. Most summit assaults begin well before sunrise, so be sure to have your headlamp ready. The trek up from Barafu is arduous to say the least, particularly the last 500 meters, and you will almost certainly be hiking at the slowest pace you have ever walked. You will very likely feel an overwhelming urge to lie down and go to sleep. This can be overcome, but you will have to fight for the summit both mentally and physically. When you reach the crater rim at Stella Point, you will enjoy a few moments of rest. Look across the crater when you are there. If the weather is clear, you will see the sign in the distance at Uhuru Peak, the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. From Stella Point, the remainder of the hike is far easier, just a relatively easy walk along the crater rim. As you trek, you'll be struck by the moon-like landscape that is peppered with mammoth glaciers. After an hour or so's walk, you'll reach Uhuru Peak, the rooftop of Africa. You'll spend some time celebrating and taking some pictures, but be sure to follow your guide's directions on when to descend. Often it is not safe for climbers to linger long at this altitude. From here, you'll retrace your steps back to Barafu, often skiing down the loose scree after you pass Stella Point on your return. Some climbers will spend an additional night at Barafu, while others will press further on down the mountain before stopping. Regardless, from Barafu you will pass through Millennium Camp and Mweke Camp before finally reaching the Mweke Gate. There you will triumphantly sign the summit register and board a bus for the return to your hotel.
Jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa Kilimanjaro, hakuna matata. Kilimanjaro de Kenya. De Kenya. Kutu kuti. Amnazi kutu kuti. Amnazi kutu kuti. Babu bibi. Amnazi kutu kuti. Amnazi kutu kuti. Amnazi kutu kuti. Asante. Asante.